Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Bloop and a Blast podcast. My name is Big Sexy. I am the Bloop. His name is Luke Hughes. He is the Blast. Hughesy, mate, we're back. It's a brand new season. There's so much to talk about. I hope you're well. You good?
I'm well, mate. I'm well. I'm happy to be back, and I'm looking forward to the summer ahead.
It's going to be a big year. Of course, we've got the ABL. We've got a new format. We've got a new pricing model. We're going to talk about that. And then, of course, gearing into the WBC. I mean, oh my gosh, there's so much going on. And look, it all kind of just starts right now. I told you I wanted the top of the show, straight off the rip. We're going to rip the Band-Aid off. The ABL has come out and announced that we're going to have to pay to watch ABL games. How do you feel about it? I've got some thoughts.
I feel like we need to find another. I feel like we need to find another sponsor to pay for 2 subscriptions for us, mate.
You're right. We are seeking. I did put it out on the Instagram. We just want 2 sponsorships, $70 each. That's all we're after. You know, $140 a year. Yeah. Sponsor the show. Firstly, before I get into my thoughts on the payment model of the ABL, we do have to thank one of our major sponsors at 1623 Baseball. Of course, you have a hand in that, but TK, Luke Hughes, 1623 Baseball, running baseball camps all over the summer and the spring, of course, here in Perth. So it was just a natural partnership that came about, and we're really glad to have 1623 on board as our major sponsor for this year. So if you haven't already, go and check them out at 1623. That is the word 16, SIXTEEN, the numbers 2 and 3, baseball. The word, it's just a word. You can't put the baseball emoji in the tags, but that's pretty exciting. Hughesy, we've got TK on board. I mean, you were kind of already on board, but TK's on board now. That's awesome.
The goat. Look, it was something that we probably should have done last year, and then obviously in discussions in our little off season, we're like, "Wait, what are we doing?" So obviously TK's. Yeah, I know. Hey, we're progressing. We're getting better at this whole podcasting thing. But look, TK he's running with it over there in WA. There's a lot of exciting things. I know he's got a baseball hitting program currently running, and I know some information's coming out shortly around the school holiday camps and when they're going to be. So stay tuned for that information. Busy schedule for old TK through the summer, I think, this year.
It's exciting. It is exciting. Now let's get into it, mate. I mean, they dropped the news last week. The ABL BA, it's now going to cost us $69.99 to get the whole season, $20 for just the playoffs, and they said it's roughly $1 a game. Okay? Cool. My initial thoughts. You ready? I'm going to go through it. I'm going to go through the wave of emotions. I thought to myself, what are we doing? Why? Why are we doing this? This is ridiculous. You want to charge us now to watch this product that we know is potentially struggling a little bit, right? We love it. Don't get me wrong. Not trying to be rude, but what are we doing? That's not going to make people want to watch baseball. But then I thought about it a little bit, right? Isn't it kind of negligent of the ABL? Hear me out. It's a big word. Isn't it a bit negligent of the ABL to say, hey, we're struggling a little bit, but we're not actually going to charge, and we're not going to try and create revenue this season? So my initial thoughts to you, I spoke to you on the phone last week when the news dropped. My thoughts were, what is going on? There is so much, maybe not super positive press about the ABL at the moment, right? 4-team league and all of that, I get that. Some people have pulled out, we get that. But we still love the ABL. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not changing my tune here. But why wouldn't they just hold this off another year? That was my initial thought. Let's just like hold off. It's okay. But then again, I thought to myself, from a business perspective, that's so negligent to just go, we could have made this a more sustainable product, but we chose to not try and get any negative feedback. It's kind of one of those things. It's like, rip the Band-Aid off. Let's go. Now that we all know what's going on, maybe things are harder than we all thought, or we just didn't know. To be honest with you, Luke, we've spoken about this before. So many people had no idea that the league was struggling for so long. So now we're at this point where we know, and it's like, fair chop. My initial reaction wasn't good, but thinking about it and coming at it with a bit of more of a clear head, I thought to myself, well, to be fair, I mean, we want a sustainable league. We want to see this thing exist, maybe they have to do it. What do you think of that?
Yeah, there's two parts here, right? I feel there's one, which you mentioned, which there hasn't been any positive press at all for the league this off season. There's been kind of one after the other negative, I guess, article coming out through the announcements around Canberra. The announcements with Melbourne. The original announcement with the Heat, and then them coming back into the league. There's a lot of negative press throughout that early part of the off season, and everything kind of died down for a period of time there. Everything went a bit quiet around information that was coming out, and we questioned Glenn around trying to get on the front foot a little bit more and being a little bit more proactive with announcements. And that's something that I'm still very strong about, right? Then we fast forward, and the first thing I feel that's major announcement for the upcoming league was the fact that they're going to start charging everybody, call it $70 to be able to watch the games. Now,
well, I don't think that's true. I think they announced the schedule.
Announce the schedule.
I know. Okay, but come on.
All right, they announced the schedule, but this is major. Schedule's whatever, okay?
Yeah, fair.
That's just a part of a baseball or in any sporting season is the schedule. This is probably the next biggest thing, right? And to go down the path, and I think, in an earlier podcast, Gonzo alluded to the amount of, I guess, people that had signed up to Baseball Plus, and it was a pretty large amount, right?
Yeah.
I think it was 25,000, somewhere around that mark. So, for us, fantastic. You got that many people watching the game in Australia. Now, I feel that it's going to take a huge, huge hit on people actually watching the ABL, right? So there's a lot of people. There was a lot of negative comments. I went through a lot of them on Facebook, just reading through to try to judge kind of what everybody was feeling. There was some positive comments on there about supporting the league and supporting the teams after, I think, the announcements around, they are struggling financially. And there's different reasons why clubs struggle financially. I'm not really going to go into that. I think we've talked about it in the past.
Yeah.
But, for me, I just don't think that it's the right time to go through the path of charging people to watch the game. And there's a couple other reasons why. One, the broadcast quality across the league. I'm not going to pick out any particular team as such, but generally the broadcast quality has struggled at times, and the quality of what they put out isn't, I don't think, at the cost of $70 for the entire season. So for me, I think they missed the mark personally with the timing of it. And I agree they should have held off this year, got through this year, built up some more positive, I guess, build the positivity back up within the league, get everyone talking about it again. And then, potentially look at, next year, right? I don't think there's ever going to be a right time to turn around and start charging people with something that's been free for the whole entirety of the ABL. Never had to pay for it. I know it jumped on KO there for a little bit. People that had KO got the opportunity to watch some games. But, KO subscription costs X amount of dollars. Netflix costs X amount of dollars.
$30 a month.
Everything, all subscription models. The World Baseball Classic is now on Netflix, coming up. So I understand it, but I just have a tough time sitting back going, we're trying to grow the sport, and now you're going to lose eyeballs because there's just not going to be an amount of people watching it, because not everyone's going to pay for it. Like we will, because we're just baseball super fans. I love the sport, love the players. I want to see how they're playing. I want to stay up to date. Obviously, we run a podcast. I'm going to be watching something to do through summer when I'm sitting at home. So, of course, I'm going to sign up. But it's the general punter that I'm concerned about, the person that would tune in, hey, the ABL's on, maybe I have a little look, that isn't going to pay the $70, and we lose them.
So last year when I did some commentary with the Perth Heat, right? My mates would jump on and watch, put it on in the background and be like, oh yeah, blah blah, having a bit of a laugh because obviously I'm on the telly, right? That's not going to happen this year, and that's just a small whatever. But there's that, it's that opportunity. Those guys wouldn't have opened up Streamer. to watch a Perth Heat game prior to that. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure like you've got 10,000 other opportunities there, but like you're probably right. The casual is now going to go, oh, $30. Oh, maybe not. But I guess too, there is still the one free game a week. So there's that. I don't know. I just find it's a funny one for me because initially I was like, I hate it. Like, I hate it. I'm going to pay it, but I'm not happy about it. Like, is unfortunately the thing, right? So, but then I'm thinking to myself, like, but how long can you? So then, okay, so they don't do it this year, Luke. We go to WBC, we have a good showing, and then they come back and say, okay, we're going to charge you guys for the for ABL TV, right? And you go, oh, okay, great. But like, and they go, oh, we could have done it last year. Or, how's this, right? Sorry, I'm losing my thoughts a little bit. But they go to WBC and then they turn around and say, oh, look, we can't have a league this year. We tried really hard, 4-team league. It was really good. We got to the WBC. We had a great showing and all of that, but we can't sustain a league. Why didn't you charge us? Why couldn't you have tried to make money off ABL TV? Do you know what I mean? Like there's that. And then they go, oh, well, we didn't think you guys would want to pay for it. What's pay for it? It's now we have nothing. So like it's a catch-22. Like it's like obviously there's never a good time, but also like I don't know. I think you're right. I think some of the broadcast quality needs to be a little bit better. Correct? Yeah, we're all in agreement there. But it's a hard one. Business perspective, you have to like we all know now. If we didn't know that the league wasn't sustainable, then we like what? Like, you know what I mean?
So the league's never had a major sponsor, okay, ever. And in the whole entirety, and we're not going to call Major League Baseball as a sponsor, they funded the league to begin with to get it up and running. There's been partners of the ABL throughout the entirety, of course, but there's never been a major sponsor, right? So I look at this in the sense of, okay, there hasn't been a major partner. They're charging $70. You know, if they land 1,000 people, you know, it's 70 grand, right? Is that money going to go back into the pockets of the owners to help sustain the league? That's how I kind of read it, potentially, that would be forwarded somewhat evenly, I'm guessing, throughout the 4 teams. You know, so if they get 2,000, all right, well, that's $140,000. So therefore, that's more money than they've ever received as a sponsor in this league for one season, all right? So, you know, if they do end up getting 2,000 subscriptions, you know, it's 140 grand, how that's divvied up. Okay, great. So then, you know, there's a little bit more money, I guess, put back into the ownership's pockets to be able to facilitate a better experience, I hope, for the fans that turn up to the games. Okay, because across the country, some people have been good, some teams have been really, really good, and some teams have been really quite poor with their fan engagement and game day activations and what that actually essentially is. Melbourne Aces were by far the best last year. We've discussed this. You know, the fans came out in droves to watch them and they put the effort in to put on a good product, not only on the field, but off the field too. So I only hope that the money that they generate from this is passed back to essentially land a better product for the fans that are going to watch the games. Might not see it this year. Obviously, we've got a new owner that's got 2 teams, which we'll discuss in a little bit. But, you know, by some of the moves that Brisbane's made, which we'll touch base on soon as well, you know, I feel, you know, it's going – we just have to see it, right? Like, I want to see more from these owners and I want to see more back for the fans.
Agreed. Right. The other thing is in my head is like, is this the first play of the IMG group, right? This could be, we're starting to see the playbook, right? Okay, this is the strategy. And like, you said to me, oh, you're going to be real positive about it. Like, no, I just said I hate it, but I'm going to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
But I also understand it. That's the worst part. Like, you take the emotion out of it and you go, well, far out. Anyways, we've been over that. The other thing I like to think of, right? Don't come at me with problems, come at me with solutions. Now, so I was talking to a guy who is pretty involved with baseball, potentially in the league, potentially pretty good. That's all I'm going to say about it, because I actually didn't ask him if he wanted me to share this and put his name to it. But he said, here's an idea for you. So this isn't my idea, right? It's far too good to be my idea. K-Zone or what did they call it? College football has an equivalent where they will have the games on the screen and they will go into, oh, okay, such and such are in this point. Let's go and watch a snippet here. And then they just swap between the games. And I think ESPN has something similar, like a K-zone type thing where, hey, bases loaded here in Melbourne, or sorry, that's going to take a bit to get used to. Bases loaded here in Sydney. Let's go and tune in and see what happens. See if he gets out of it. Or hey, such and such has has shoved for 4 innings. He's going into his 5th now. Let's go and just watch this inning here, top half of this inning, and see what happens. Do you know what I mean?
Are we pitching an idea to the ABL to get us on board on a Friday night, mate? Is that what we're going to pitch them?
If they want Hughesy and Big Sexy on Friday Night Lights, let's do it. We'll do it. I mean, what else are we going to do? You know, nothing going on a Friday.
Maybe they pay for our subscription. Maybe they'll be our sponsors.
Hey, hello.
Who knows?
But wouldn't something like that be a good tool to highlight the whole league, right? And it's not just the content that we already had. It's extra content. Yeah, there's a bit of back-end work there. You've got to have a guy in a truck that's being able to talk to, not a truck or in a remote office, whatever, being able to talk to us. Obviously, we're not in the same place. It's probably easier if it isn't us, if it's someone like a Bellman who's the media guy, right? I get that. But that's an opportunity.
Mate, he's the voice of the
Adelaide Giants.
Yeah, so
correct. So
I don't want to lose him, mate. I don't want to lose him from that com team because
you just want to get yourself on there, mate. Yeah.
No, I love Bellner.
Just do it out of Melbourne.
No, I've told him like I don't want to lose commentators like Bellner, who I think calls the game phenomenally. And that's one thing that I think with this subscription model they need to look at, who's actually commentating these games, because at times, and I'll be brutally honest, they aren't enjoyable to listen to. And generally I'd end up watching them silent and turning it off and having it in the background, because at times it's just not information, or they just don't know the game properly enough to be able to commentate it and give the fans the information that they are required. So I really hope that there's more effort put in this off-season to recruit players, former players, to be able to spend time with the guys that, like a Bellner, who know what they're doing and know what they're talking about. Guys like yourself, man, I know you got a little bit of a taste last year. I just want to see more of you guys in the comms box.
I was just going to say, cheers, Luke. I've just lost my job mucking around with morgues. But no, look, hey, there's ideas out there. I mean, put it out there. If you guys have an idea, have a better one. Put it in the comments. Tag the ABL. Let's go. Let's do it. I mean, like, this is an opportunity now. And, yeah, these things might be difficult, but, like, it's, hey, if you're listening to the consumer base, if they're going to come out and say, we think this is great, if it's going to get you another $70 for the year, let's do it, All of a sudden, it's not just the same thing, It doesn't have to be our show. It could be another show. It could be a panel show or I know we always go back to panel shows when we talk about this kind of stuff, but a recap thing. Maybe they've got that in the works. That would be cool, lads. I'd watch it. I'd watch it every week, right? Because we know my research isn't great. I just show up here and you do all the work and I talk. So, but there's that, right? Like, who knows? Like, but anyways, I'm hoping that I'm hopeful that it's something a little bit different, but we'll see.
I'm interested to watch the space, and we'll see how it plays out, right? And, I know I said some negative stuff. I don't really care. It is what it is now. And then if people want to watch baseball, they're going to have to pay $70 to watch it, and we'll see. Watch this space, how it rolls out through the year, and we'll go from there, right? And
another thing,
of course, we're going to.
Sorry, I just want to throw this out there. Yeah, look, we're going to do it. We love it. We know, and yeah. We're not necessarily the negative type podcast. If you want to listen to someone that's just going to bash the league, there's plenty of other podcasts out there that you can find. There you go. Take that. But we're not that. We're just throwing it out there. Hey, we love it. I get it, but I'm unhappy about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we've got to call a spade a spade. We've always done that. So that's where we're going to end on that. It is good news. The other thing, from a business perspective, it makes sense, right? That's the worst part that annoys me. It makes sense. It's another revenue stream for the league that hasn't been there ever. Is now the right time? When is the right time? Anyways, we'll move on. Speaking of new blood, new things, new owners. Now, we sort of touched on a little bit previously, whether we did on an actual episode or not, but Sydney has a new ownership group, and then a little bit of time has passed, and Perth has announced a new ownership group. No, that's right. We did speak about this. Obviously, we had Willow on the show, but we had at that point Sydney had received a new ownership group, and then Perth had pulled out of the league. Which again, a lot of people came up to me here in Perth saying, "Oh, Perth Heat are out of the league." Right. I said, "Mate, they were never out of the league. They handed their license back, and now they've got new owners. The league took ownership of it. It makes sense now." But again, the worst part, you want to talk about negative publicity, Hughesy, like mainstream media here in Perth, people are thinking, oh, Perth's out of the league. They don't have a baseball team. They do. And now they got new owners.
Yeah. So Black Pearl Sports Group obviously came on board with the Sydney Blue Sox, basically started the off-season thereabouts. And as you said, the Perth Heat handed their license back in, and we were always hoping that someone would take it on. And obviously they stepped up and took over the ownership of the Perth Heat too, essentially saving the organisation, their future too. So I've always said I'm very thankful to all owners. Haven't always seen eye to eye over the years around how some teams are being facilitated, but that's fine. That's okay. But I've always been very, very thankful for them to chip in their hard-earned dollars. They didn't need to do it. They know it's going to cost them money that they wouldn't see again. So I'm thankful that they've stepped in to be able to facilitate, essentially an ABL season, because if he didn't and the group didn't, we wouldn't be here and we wouldn't be having a podcast this year, because if we didn't purchase two teams, there's no chance this league continues on, right? So I'm hoping to see, the improvements on the field and off the field for both organisations moving forward, because I think both of them have needed a fresh face and a fresh start, and we really hope that, those two organisations can continue to thrive.
Is it a problem having someone is it? I don't know. Is it not?
I look at the NBL, right, and Larry Kesselman obviously he had shares in, I guess, a couple of different teams. I know he probably sold out, I think it was his majority share of Melbourne United. I knew that he had a couple other teams. I don't know the specifics around it, right? So it has worked, okay, and it has been done. Now everyone's going to sit back and go, "Oh, they're going to stack one team, or they're going to stack this team, or they're going to, make it evenly." Look, what happens in Perth, and I can only talk for Perth. I don't know enough about Sydney's relationships with their professional clubs, but I do know a lot about Perth's, alignment with the Rays. I know the alignment within, the KBO teams and the Japanese teams, and, they're going to get who they're going to get, right? That's not going to change. Where you can kind of sit back and go, all right, now there's only two independent ball players playing per team. They're not just going to go and get the two best arms in Sydney and get two shit arms in Perth. That's just not going to happen, okay? They'll get two good arms in Sydney and they'll get two good arms in Perth, right? And then essentially it's what the affiliations send out, and if they're good players or not, right? And of course they're going to have success in the ABL. They wouldn't send players down here that wouldn't have success. And Sydney has, obviously taken a huge step forward last year. I feel, with a lot of things that they did, and obviously bringing Brook Knight in and changing the mentality around the ball club and really driving the standards and the passion for the game. We all saw it, right? And, Canberra got hot out at the right time, and, they were, 1 out away from moving on to the championship, basically, or that close to moving on, right? So, I have no issues with there being one owner. A lot of people will. A lot of people will have issues with it.
That's what I was asking.
But I like, a lot of people will, but they don't dive deep into it. Those relationships aren't going to change. They'll run Perth Heat as well as they run Sydney. There'll be people on the ground in both states facilitating, that organisation, within help from, state bodies and government for funding and help in that space as well. I know the Perth Heat have, a pretty good opportunity with the state government there with some funding as well. So I don't see it being an issue personally, mate. I don't see them recruiting.
Can you see Woz and Alex Hall just going, "Oh, it's okay, it doesn't really matter"? You know, we're just all owned by
The players would.
They're going to win.
The players, they want to win, right? So the
Yeah.
players will obviously ask the question, be like, okay, who are you recruiting for Sydney, or who are you trying to recruit from Perth? That's probably the one grey area where, you know, notoriously Perth hasn't really recruited outside the own state to bring in other states' players into Perth. It's something they haven't really ever done before. I can't even remember, not for the last few years at least.
Yeah.
Years ago, you know, brought in Nick Kimpton years ago, right? But we're talking 10 plus years ago. So like Perth is generally Perth players, with a sprinkle of Rays and a sprinkle of some KBO players and a sprinkle of some imports. You know, Sydney, you know, I dare say it's going to be the same, but their biggest thing is trying to retain players and make sure that they stay in Sydney and not go elsewhere. So yeah, it'll be interesting landscape to see what happens over the next couple of months in that space.
Of course. I mean, it brings us on to our next point, which is players moving around. As you see here, sorry, I just realised that a lot of people watching this are probably like, "What's happened? Sexy's not on his couch. He's in a different room." Me and the missus have finally bought a house. I've got my own little studio here. In the background here, you might be able to see it. There's a couple of extra microphones. We are doing another show. It is coming up. We've got the State League show going. I haven't announced who the co-host is yet, so don't wreck it, Hughesy. But behind me here, you'll see my dog, Manny, has been... I've got some AI artwork of him being transformed into a baseball player. And over here, we've got a Manny Ramirez signed bat. So draw the connection between the two. So I apologise if you've been sitting here going, why is there a dog behind him holding a bat? But that's just how my mind works. So
is that a State League Championship hat back there too?
Yeah, found it on a bench somewhere. Yeah,
I was going to say,
picked it up at a good Sammy, which is nice.
I thought only players that won the championship get those
media, yeah, yep.
Or cheerleader, Molly Eagles number one cheerleader.
Hey, I had a batting average last year. I can't remember what it was, but yeah. There's also a little a medal there that I got, but that was Rezzy's. So, but anyways, let's not talk about that. That's fine. Hey, mate, I'm happy to have a fucking spot on the team. Give me a minute.
The one thing I never got to get at Morley, and you roll in there in year 2, you get a freaking championship medal for the Rezzies and a part of the State League team too. How fantastic is baseball?
We all know that I didn't do much in the State League side. I'm the first to tell you that, so that's fine. But I did want the hat, and I'm fucking glad I did, because how cool is that hat? They're the sickest hats ever. But and you'll love this though, Hughesy. I've got quite a dome on me. Like, this is a size 8 that I'm wearing right now. So I've gone to put that on. Doesn't fit. So justice. There you go. I can't wear it anyways. And like I would wear it. I did nothing, right? But anyways, it is what it is. So stay tuned.
What else are you going to get put out there? What other artwork? It's a little bit plain.
It is a bit bare, but we're getting there, mate. Like, just give it time. We'll work on it. We'll get some stuff.
Here's me talking. I've just got a backdrop of my window with the shade down. I might even learn how to use these beautiful lights that I've got here. If you're watching on YouTube at Bloop podcast on YouTube, you're probably saying, "Geez, Sexy's gone pale or something. What's happened? Is he all right?" No, I'm just trying to learn how to use studio lighting. But hey, we're getting there. We'll have this thing worked out by the time the season rolls around. But as I was discussing, there are some player movements happening, and some big changes all around the place, and maybe not so much really. You know, we're seeing a lot of re-signing, a lot of guys going back to Sydney. We haven't heard much from Perth, and we'll get into that. I know that's something that you want to talk about. We're seeing a bunch of guys go back to Adelaide, but probably the biggest one in the last week, right? It has been a pretty big week of news for the ABL, is of course Rickson Wingrove. Now, there has been some prior to that, and we will talk about that too, because they're just as equally huge. Like, you want to talk about things like, you know, maybe the catcher for Team Australia, Robbie Perkins, right? Perko is going to Brisbane. Unfortunately, Canberra's not in the league, right? So that means there's a few spots open, right? We've got JK, John Kennedy, going up to Brisbane as well. But now you hear a guy like that makes sense, all right? You get it. These guys didn't have a place to play in the ABL, right? Okay, cool. Now we hear Rickson's moving on from Adelaide going to Brisbane. Hold the phone. It might be a little contender right now. What's going on? Well, as everyone will know, if they've listened to the podcast last year, I was all in on the Aces winning it. And I was bullish on that all season. And early prediction, watch out. Good luck, anyone that goes in and plays Brisbane. I mean, the roster that they've already built is...
Brisbane were good late last year. Good.
Yeah. So they've added Rickson, as you said, who, I did message him. I said, if he doesn't break the home run record, I'm not talking to him ever again. That short porch to right field, I mean, just dip that back shoulder and yank everything. The funny thing is, within that space, like adding a guy like him into the heart of the order with Perko, who I feel hits majority, he's more center, right field. That little jet stream that blows out to right field, just got to hit a few pop-ups that way. Hit plenty of them, plenty of pop-ups that way over there. But it's something that you've just added two huge bats into that lineup. I think everyone needs to understand that Wadey's back. Back and playing.
Sorry, I missed
Wadey's
that.
back. Yeah, so Wadey's back, which is huge. He got into the fire brigade, so I knew there was some stuff there last year. Obviously, he has the ability, I think, to play home games. That's the rumor going around, that he'd be playing, all the home games. I don't know if he's going to be going on the road. Obviously, he has a young family. They were able to add John Kennedy, who just had like a ridiculous season in Canberra last year. And obviously having that relationship with Benny up there has probably helped with those two guys going up there. Who else did they announce?
Met him last year.
George
Great
Khalil.
guy. Yeah, George Khalil.
Yeah.
Another great guy.
George Khalil, right? So he's heading up there. Will Riley's re-signed. The team, I'm just looking at their page, Connor McDonald's, signed. Who else they got here? I'm going to stuff this fella's name out. Krakowski. Krakowski, announced him. So they're out there, mate. They've announced obviously the most players to date. The one thing obviously for Adelaide is, losing a guy like Rickson, or reports that just didn't seem like they could come together with an agreement that both sides were happy with. So, unfortunate for Adelaide. They've had an ability over the years to recruit really good players to fill out their organisation. So don't sleep on them. They'll be looking around. They'll be searching around, trying to add some more people to that club too. So watch out, Brisbane Bandits. I'm early pick to click this year by far.
Oh, it's hard to argue it, right? Like, it's pretty stacked. You look at have you heard of Fritz? I can never pronounce. Yep. Fritz is back. Damn it, Fritz at third. Logan Wade at shortstop. You probably go with the guy Will Riley at second.
Darrow. No, and this is the thing, right? Like,
Darrow played a bit of outfield, though.
It'd be interesting to see what his club does, whether or not they allow him to play in the ABL. Who knows? I'm sure that they'll, come out with some information in that space. They might want him to have a bit of a rest after a huge year.
Yep.
But it does start to get quite crowded quickly.
It's busy.
It is real busy. You forget about George Khalil, who I think is the smoothest shortstop in the country at the moment. It's something that obviously Daly at shortstop with Melbourne is probably the other, slick shortstop that's floating around in the league. Interesting to see. And probably the one name that's still floating around, I haven't seen any announcements yet, is Robbie Glendenning. What he's going to end up doing this summer.
RG6.
I think that's a huge watch to see. Does he end up back at Melbourne? Does he float over to Perth? I haven't spoken to him recently, so it's not like I've got any insider mail. He might listen to this and text me and say, "Shut up, you idiot."
Shut the hell up. Yeah.
But that's a bat that's on the market at the moment. So yeah,
I reckon he goes back to Melbourne.
Yeah, he could. Obviously we're still waiting to hear some more announcements around the games that they're going to play this summer. So I think there's watching that space. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of players that are probably seeking out the best opportunity and what they want to do through the summer, because there is a couple of options for them now.
How's Berkey having a huge year with the Bananas? Have you been tracking that?
The Savannah Bananas?
Yeah. Go and check that out. And all of you, go and check it out. Berkey having a mad year with the Bananas.
You sure it's Berkey? You got
sure
the right
it is.
name?
Yeah, it is.
You want to confirm that?
Would it not be me? Would it be wrong of me to have the wrong name? For sure.
Yeah, but I just want to make you go and look for it instead of
Have
me
I?
giving you the name.
Have I? Am I wrong? Who is
Go have
it
a
then?
look.
Tell me I'm wrong
Go
then.
have a look. No, I want you to go have a look.
I'm pretty
Spend
good
the
at
time in
editing.
the naughty corner.
Who
Spend
is
the
it then?
time in the
Oh,
naughty
Spencer.
corner.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, it is. Fuck, it's Spency.
There
Liam
you
Spence.
go.
My bad.
Yeah, pretty cool. I
Oh,
have a
yeah, whatever.
group. He won't listen anyway, mate. I won't send it to him. This might be going the bloop section, but like I have a joke, and I've got a group chat with a few lads over here in Melbourne, and anything that pops up with the bananas just gets sent through to this WhatsApp group, and it's just solely to fire me up because I haven't been a big supporter of the bananas and what they're about. I'm a bit of a traditionalist, as you probably know, around the game of baseball. And perfect. That's what we're adding sound effects.
Sort
And
yourself out, mate.
was that for you and the getting the name wrong? Was that for
No,
me not
that's for
liking the
you
bananas?
being like, oh, I don't like fun. Get around it. What?
Well,
Talk to me about bananas.
the,
Also, sorry
the,
to Spency, but for some reason, Liam Spence and Chris Burke are the same person in my head. I have problems. I know who I am.
Berkey, side note, hit a walk-off home run in the final there for North Bourne on Saturday.
Okay.
Side note, so might get
So
that
that's
grab,
why
chuck
you
that in
know
there.
he's not playing for the Bananas because you saw him on the weekend.
100%. Watched him play on Saturday down at North Bourne, right? So with Whitey was playing for GNBC. They had a great game, went 11 innings, and then Berkey hit a walk-off. So
You know why?
the thing with the Bananas...
Sorry, I'm just going to unpack this mentally. I'm leaving this in. I don't care. I make mistakes all the time, so that's fine. I thought of Chris Burke did the crazy catch in left field for Melbourne last year, I think. Had a mad, and I did like a reel, like a short on it. And now I'm thinking about it. And so I, for some reason, every time even though it's got Liam Spencer's name, yep. And I think I may have even messaged him in the off season. I think Chris Burke and Liam Spencer are the same person. So there you go. I've got problems.
Yeah, you do.
More good research coming at you.
Back to the Bananas, mate. They've got 70,000+ people watching games, right, playing all over the country. So obviously they're doing something right. It's just, they made it fun. They got trick plays. They got all types of stuff.
I get it.
I get it.
I was a long time, mate. I was like, I don't want to watch that shit, right? My missus, she's like, oh, let's put the Bananas on. And I'm like, oh, but like that's the thing. That's what they've done. They've broken into people that wouldn't want like. The only reason misses to the baseball is because of the good food, right?
Did you have to pay a subscription to watch them play?
Free. YouTube.
Interesting.
YouTube is the dream.
Interesting.
They've been there.
So
smarter minds than ours working this out. This is play one on IMG. They know what's going on.
Yeah, so obviously everybody's watching, Bananas having a good time, and Berkey, Spency, is having a great time, and the cricket bat stuff was pretty cool, and to get a hit doing that, I love these new sound effects. This is fantastic.
I got to turn that off. Sorry, guys. Yeah, my bad.
That's fantastic. So if anyone doesn't know, Sexy's got a new toy, and I'm really looking forward to adding in all these sound effects.
We're gonna get some. We might even get some clips of Hughesy. Might even try and find some of you blowing up in on the internet. There's got to be some Hughesy clips out there, so I can, get that going. That's working out.
Let's keep them hiding. Let's hide them. Let's hide those. I've been on my best behaviour the last 5 years, mate.
So you're not there on the Savannah Bananas. The Savannah Banana. Nah, you hate it.
I just can't bring myself to watch it.
Fair enough. That's fine. I respect that too. Like, because I was there for a long time. I was like, no way, not a chance, mate. I'm not watching that, and that's just not happening. But it is what it is. I don't know. There's something about I can't watch a whole game because I'm like, wait, what's going on? Why is that happening? And whatever. But I don't know. It is what it is. I get it.
I did see something though. I do have to say, which was pretty cool. Was I think if a fan catches a ball, that's a foul ball. I think the guy's out. Yeah. And I was just like, when I saw that, I was like, that's hilarious. That's actually quite funny.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess there's a difference between you and me. You just played in the big leagues, so that's fine. Fair enough. You're allowed to have an opinion. Totally cool.
Very good. For it. Right.
Look, what else do we want to talk about? I've lost track now. I'm completely off it. I'm playing with the sound.
I'll bring it back. Bring it back. So the two, it's what's going to happen with Sydney, what's going to happen with Perth. Okay. Who are they going to sign? I expect it to be somewhat similar to the last couple of seasons. Mm-hmm. Imports will be different. We know that. How they go, obtaining those imports, will be slightly different. New coach in Perth at some stage. They haven't announced anything yet, but there'll be a new coach announced there hopefully shortly. I think they've kept that pretty tight-lipped over there around. But the intel is that it will be most likely someone outside the state. So
American guy.
I think it will be an American guy. Yep, and that's about all we know at the present stage with some experience. And yeah, it'll be a different look. I guess everyone's used to having AK around there at the Heat. Has been there for a long time. But now a new voice, something different coming in there to kind of see. I think the team will be different. Probably not in my space to announce anything, so I won't. But yeah, it's really interesting to see when they start actually posting stuff, and I'm sure they will soon too, right? They're about to probably heat up. They just probably got their feet underneath them, trying to take care of contracts, get the players signed first, take care of those guys, have those conversations, and then from there, I'm sure that they're all over what and how they're going to facilitate their information and get it out there to the public. So I dare say very shortly we'll start hearing announcements from both teams.
What was the offer to get you back as the Heat manager? And that you clearly turned down. What was the offer? Was it?
Mate, it's always been a dream of mine to coach the Perth Heat, and it just hasn't ever, I guess, happened. It's fine.
People will probably be like, "Oh, they offered Hughesy the job." They didn't, guys. I'm being silly. Come on, let's go.
Bad timing, mate. If I was in Perth, maybe we would sit on the nice little
casting couch behind me, and we could do the podcast in person.
Yeah,
let's let that
mate. It's touchy subject. Touchy subject. Way to bring it up, ruin my night. But the thing is, just waiting. I think this is where players start to get announced. Adelaide will do some stuff. They always do. They always find a way. Davo has run that organisation extremely well over the last 5 years. Winning championships, recruiting players, good people, and the like. So there's a lot of stuff to come out very shortly, I feel. Brisbane are in front of it. They're the team that have launched. They're the team that early prediction, you can just see the players that they've added. It's been a really good off-season for them, and I think it will continue as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. And, Jimbo's going to love hearing that, right? Like, boys are back on his team that we're predicting early. So you're obviously trying to be Jimbo's favourite. Jimbo, I still love you, mate. It's all good. But anyways, it is what it is. So there you go. I mean, look, so much going on already. And I think we're are we still how many, when's opening round? Was it November?
2 months. We're a couple of months
8 weeks away. So there you go. Yeah. If you're hearing this, and it's shorter, well, we held on to the episode. But, it is what it is. So it's pretty exciting. And I think we're just, like you said, it's going to heat up all across the league. And we're going to be here to help you unpack it all. So is there anything else that you wanted to say, Luke? Is there anything else that you wanted to mention? What are our goals for this year?
I think
goal for this year?
To coach Essendon to a championship in the VSBL. That's a goal of mine.
Yeah, that's cool. Congratulations. I should have said that. Sorry, I'm a shit person. Congratulations, Luke, the new manager of the Essendon Baseball Club, the Bombers.
Looking
logos and hats and stuff.
Yeah, first optional session tomorrow night. So it'd be good to get around the boys, mate. It's something that for me as a coach now, I just love being around a club and being around the boys and hanging out and being in the change rooms and shooting the breeze with the guys. And, that's something that I'm super passionate about. So I'm really looking forward to that. Just finished up with the Academy of Excellence through the winter, running a program out there in Essendon. That's been fantastic too. So, yeah, it's something that, I guess now summer's around it and it's going to be busy. These Monday night podcasts are going to be fantastic again, looking in your eyes and adding in all these beautiful sound effects that you do. Give us one.
It's a scary one. I don't know. We're working it out.
But I think the most important thing, though, I really enjoyed last year interviewing the players and the coaches and the, general managers and, people around the league in different roles. And maybe this year we try to get to a few different, I guess, people, love to talk to all the same boys again. But I think there's so many more stories to be shared throughout this league. And, we'll continue to build up into the World Baseball Classic, which is the most fun I've ever had playing the game, representing the country at a World Baseball Classic, playing against the best players in the world, at the best stadiums in the world, in front of the best baseball fans in the world. Like, it's just the pinnacle of the sport. And I know some guys already put out some teams that, from some of these other countries, some players already accepted, playing for the USA after Mark DeRosa, and I really like seeing that stuff, right? Yeah. So I think we'll talk a lot about the WBC as we move through all these podcasts, mate. So that's what I'm actually looking forward to, building the hype around that a little bit.
Do we do a way too early prediction on the infield at least?
For Team Australia? Or
Team Australia,
for Team
WBC. Yeah. Here you go. I'll do it. I'll do it so you don't have to. And then you can laugh.
I'll see if you're going to be right and who you've forgotten. Yeah.
You've probably got Perko catching, right? Because it's Perko or Hawley, but it's Perko probably, and then Hawley, because Hawley can do other things. You've got Curtis Mead at first base, which is wild because he's been playing a bit of other, he played third base the other day. Fair. Bazana at second base, I think. I can't remember who I had at shortstop. Give me some help.
Dale.
Okay. And then who's playing third base?
Iredale.
True.
He's in pro ball. You got him and Georgie, right? Georgie's that veteran that's been around for a long time. So
Darryl George, yeah, of course. Yeah, Darryl George.
So if you look at, there's a couple. I think they've got options, right? And
I'm sucking tonight. Thank God you're here. Yeah, sorry about
phenomenal. George has been phenomenal at the hot corner for a long period of time.
Yep,
made some
100%.
of the best players that you've ever seen, right? And he finds a way, another gear when he plays for Team Australia. So I think it's going to be hard to keep him out of the lineup. But also you have Iredale, who's now in pro ball and playing, and he's, I guess you look at it being the future third baseman. They're going to have options. There's a lot more names there, and it's going to be quite difficult.
We get Meaty and we get Bazana, right? Surely. I mean,
yeah, I hope so, right? Meaty's always said he wanted to play. Meaty has been very forthcoming in saying he wants to represent the country, and has for a long time. I think you got Bazana. Where you're going to put Wingrove? Does he float over to the DH spot? Hawley floats out to the outfield. Robbie floats out to the outfield. Whitefield floats out, obviously, to centre field. And you got TK. Where's that going to end up?
Yeah.
You've got. I won't say another name. It's not in my place to say this person's name, so I'll keep that quiet for now. But there's another player or two there that potentially could come into that and slot straight into, right? So it's going to be hard.
Hughesy's got scoops.
I look at guys like Berkey, from Melbourne as well, so versatile. I think he can add value to the club. It's just I do say that, Spency, as you said, there's a lot of players to be able to force your way into that nine is going to be extremely hard. And I think a lot of these guys have to perform throughout the ABL and essentially, obviously, with the Aces doing their thing, I think it's a different look for those guys that are signed with the Aces. It's how many games they play, who they play against, how they're going to get recognised, what's their schedule going to look like. That there's a lot of considerations in that space.
So that's for guys like DG and that. I don't think we're not watching. It's not going to be you're not in the ABL, you're not getting looked at. Come on.
Well, it's around games, right? So obviously we're waiting to hear out what the Aces are going to look like and their schedule going to look like. And they will have games, of course. They've come out and said they're going to play 40 games. They'll play 40 games. Against who? I don't know. We'll watch this space, right? But making sure those guys play games, give them the ability to put their best foot forward in a different way, I guess, against different competition. So there's going to be some selection issues, I'd say, especially if everybody is available, which is a good thing. It's a great thing to have.
What do you want to say?
I don't even want to start down the pitching pathway. Can we say that?
Who gets game ball one? What are we doing?
Dude, it's for me. It's probably it's a Wells. It's one of the Wellsies, I'd say. But look, there's been some guys in pro ball this year that have done fantastic things, right? Throughout the whole summer. So I think we're in a good spot.
There you go. And my goal this year is probably do a little bit more research.
Okay.
No sound effect. No sound effect.
Can you give me a sound effect? Which sound effect would you play on that? I know which one you would. That's perfect.
Yeah, there we go.
That's it. Well, that's a huge lie.
I'm definitely not going to. I'm just going to show up less and less prepared and just roll with it. Let you do all the work. It's awesome. And look, that's it. That's that. We're back. We've got that. Everything's happening. We're gonna have a bit more fun this year. All right? I know we had fun last year, but we're gonna do some different shit this year. I think we're gonna go for it. Okay. So watch this space. And if you haven't already, make sure you follow us on Instagram at Bloop Blast Podcast on Instagram, on Facebook. We've got a TikTok. I don't know. I haven't opened it in months. So don't trust us. Be like, oh, the TikTok's kind of shit. Yeah, like I'm too old for it now. Like I'm far too old to open up TikTok. It's kind of embarrassing. We do, of course, have at Bloop Blast Podcast on YouTube. You can watch us there. Please go and subscribe over there because we have a bunch of extra little content there. And look, to be honest with you, I'm probably going to do more of that as well. We're going to have a bit of fun. I joked about it last year with Hughesy. I want to do a watch along. I think we do a watch along. Hey, ABL, I know you're watching this. Get us to do your K-Zone thing. We'll do that and put it on our YouTube channel, right? Okay. Also, we are looking for sponsors. So if you want to sponsor the boys, it's only going to cost you $140 a year. All right. Get us. We want to buy the memberships. All right. How are we going to do this? It's got to be a thing. So go and check us out at Bloop Blast Podcast. Shoot us a message. Hey, tell us if we've done something wrong, if we've said something wrong. Tell us. We love hearing from you guys. I try to interact with as many people. Also, if you try to message the Instagram, it's me. It's not Hughesy. So if you come at me with like, oh, bloody Hughesy, no, it's just me. All right. I should give you the password. That's my bad.
You probably screen me from a lot of comments that I don't want to read. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, you sort of exist in this little Hughesy world. It's kind of nice and whatever. No one ever writes anything bad anyways. It's always pretty good.
Sure about that?
To be honest, there was one hater for me last year, and that's fair enough too. So like whatever. Like that's totally fair. John Boy from Tinder is what he said. Pretty bang on. I'll take that. I'll take it for sure.
Can we get the laughing one, please? Yep. One more time.
There it is. John Boy. Or we should get the ding, like correct. Yeah. 10 points.
I like that. Yeah. I think you need to get the ding, please.
Get the ding.
Predictions. Get the predictions. Ding ding.
I'll get there. I've got nothing here. It's just a little joke for you. Anyways, we're out of time and we're out of stupid sound effects to play. At Bloop Blast Podcast on all social media. Go and subscribe. Go and like us. Go and do all of that kind of stuff. We appreciate you. Another big shout out to our major sponsor, of course, 1623 Baseball at 16. The word 1623. The numbers 2 and 3. Baseball on Instagram, on Facebook, all of the summer camps. It's all happening. Go and check it out. Of course, go and support TK. He's an absolute goat. Don't support Hughesy, but support TK. We love that guy. He's the best ever to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We will see you again in the near future. Peace. Do you want to say goodbye? Say bye. Just say bye.
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 Going back.